Hi again. You find me in Lowestoft, 22nd of September 2022. I had been trying to head north back to Grimsby to take the boat out, bring it back to Sheffield, but with several days of northerly winds I had to change my plans and decided to head south again to the Deben, which is becoming a favourite haunt of mine. The arrow here marks where the visitors' pontoon is at the Royal Norfolk and Suffolk Yacht Club. I've been in here several times now and had a friendly welcome, and it's very convenient for food shopping, takeaways, etc. The harbours can be entered at any time of the tide, and once you're through the main entrance it's nice and sheltered for making your way into the visitors' pontoon. This video is really just some footage of my trip south from Lowestoft to the Deben. I was having a cracking sail and took some footage with my GoPro from different points on the boat, which just makes for some nice fun viewing of a good reaching sail down the coast. The critical part of the passage was to arrive at the Deben at or just before high water to cross the bar, and this necessitated leaving Lowestoft at about 4 in the morning. Initially 2 hours or so against the last of the ebb tide, and then hopefully going with the flood tide to carry us south. My plan on leaving the harbour was to take this inshore route south for about 4 miles before crossing the 5-metre contour into deeper water. This is now about 2.5 hours later. It's 6:40 in the morning, and going along nicely with the wind vane steering, doing about 4.5 knots through the water. Like you see on the chart, we're just doing 2.9, 2.8 knots over the ground, so quite a strong tide against me at the moment. Here you see the flash of Southwold Lighthouse. Always brings a sense of comfort when you're out to sea at night, a sense of security. An hour later the sun's coming up, and regret to say the boat's looking rather a mess. I had made a plan to myself to not rush to tidy up the boat after leaving harbour. Sometimes I put myself under a lot of pressure to get things all shipshape, but I found it's better to settle into the passage. But here, several hours in, I regret to say I still haven't put the fenders and lines away. We've got one reef in, doing about 5 knots through the water, and 3.5 knots over the ground, so still quite a strong tide against us. Another little flash from the Southwold light. This is my favourite spot, particularly in the going upwind. I've made this wooden seat with a cushion that fits over the companionway step there, and it gives a very comfortable place to chill out in the shelter of the spray hood. Everything at hand. You can see my spot tracker there just hanging off the left hand handle by the companionway, which I use to share my track with friends and also as a safety device. At this point I'm just taking out the single reef that I had in, and up goes the topping lift, and you'll hear a lot of squeaking and you'll see a lot of effort going into raising the sail up. And I discovered at the end of the season that both sheaves on the main halyard, the top of the mast and the bottom of the mast, had pretty much seized, and I'd spent my whole time fighting against them. So as you can imagine, the first job when I got the boat back home was to order those 2 new sheaves. So I'm looking forward to a very smooth run of the halyard when I launch this year. Just some nice views in the early morning sunlight. I call this my NBJS pose. Look it up on YouTube if you don't know what I mean. Still making good speed, shaking out the reef, and tide is still against us, but less than it was. Always a nice shot this, looking forward along the lee rail, just almost in the water. Nice bow wave curling away. Very pleased with my wind vane, which basically steers for 90% of most passages. Rather a salt encrusted window, but nice views. Close up of my little cushion in the companionway there. Just chilling in the cockpit.
All stations, this is Humber Coast Guard Footing Maritime Safety Information broadcast to the North of Amble in the Cheese Bay, Flabber ahead, the walk.
So this is my destination, the Deben, and I've put the buoys that mark the channel up there on my chart. Passage was 35 nautical miles, and I got there actually 2 hours earlier than my planned passage time. So that was about 2 hours before high water, so I had a nice run up the channel with the tide coming in. And I picked up a visitor's buoy at Felixstowe Ferry and had a day or so exploring around there and watching life on the river go by. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.